The timeless allure of 80s synth sounds in modern film scores. Have you ever noticed how the sound of a synthesizer can instantly transport you back in time? Just think about the iconic opening notes of Harold Faltermeyer's Axel F from Beverly Hills Cop or Brad Fiedel's unforgettable theme for the Terminator. These sounds are like time machines, whisking us back to the vibrant and eclectic 1980s. While electronic music has roots that stretch far beyond that decade, it was during the 80s that the synthesizer truly took center stage, reshaping the musical landscape of film scores. This shift was driven by a mix of evolving musical tastes, cultural changes, and the rise of independent films that often opted for a single musician over a full orchestra to save costs. But what's truly fascinating is not just how this synth-heavy sound defined the 80s, but why it continues to resonate in today's music. Sure, we've been riding the wave of 80s nostalgia for years, but the appeal of synthesizers goes beyond mere sentimentality. As electronic dance music, EDM, and other genres have emerged, the classic synth sound has morphed into a vibrant genre known as synthwave. This modern twist has inspired filmmakers to incorporate these retro sounds into their projects, even when they're not explicitly referencing the 80s. Movies like David Robert Mitchell's It Follows and Adam Wingard's The Guest showcase how this sound can evoke a sense of nostalgia while still feeling fresh and innovative. And it's not just films. This electronic vibe has made its way into television, too. The evolution of music is a fascinating journey, with each new innovation blending into a rich tapestry of styles and influences. Yet, the unmistakable sound of 80s electronic music remains a staple in our contemporary soundscape, and it's worth exploring how and why this phenomenon persists. To dig deeper, I spoke with 4 talented musicians currently making waves in the film and television industry, all of whom are harnessing this distinctive sound in their scores. Through our conversations, I uncovered some intriguing insights into the enduring power of retro synth sounds, and it seems they're here to stay. The everlasting charm of 80s nostalgia. The 80s have a unique hold on our culture, unlike any other era. Iconic franchises like Transformers, Ghostbusters, and Beetlejuice continue to thrive, reminding us of a time that many cherish. However, not everything from that decade has stood the test of time. For a while, the signature synthesizer sound was dismissed as outdated, even embarrassing. British music producer Sunglasses Kid recalls a time when an 80s sound was considered a bad word in the music industry. When I first started producing music, being told it sounded 80s felt like an insult, he shares. It was synonymous with cheesy or cringeworthy. Yet, the allure of 80s media and aesthetics has never truly faded. As Sunglasses Kid points out, those who grew up in the 80s are now the creators and decision makers in the industry, leading to a resurgence of interest in that era. I'm surprised that the fascination with the 80s hasn't waned in favor of the 90s. It seems like we're in a prolonged cycle of 80s appreciation, he notes. He attributes this ongoing interest to the unique sound palette of the 80s, which combined innovative possibilities with certain limitations. There's an explosion of new sounds that felt exotic and fresh. Today, with endless options available, there's a nostalgia for that simpler time when creativity thrived within constraints. The impact of influential works. The revival of 80s sounds wouldn't be as pronounced without groundbreaking works like Nicholas Winding Refn's 2011 film Drive. Its pulsating score by Cliff Martinez and the neon-drenched visuals helped reignite interest in retro sounds, particularly with tracks like Kavinsky's Night Call. Sunglasses Kid credits this film as a pivotal moment that inspired many to explore the 80s sound palette. Similarly, Zach Robinson, who co-composed the score for Cobra Kai, recalls how Drive marked a turning point for him and many others involved in retro music fandoms. While Drive played a significant role, the emergence of synthwave was also influenced by earlier electronic music genres, such as French Touch, which included artists like Justice and Daft Punk. Robinson explains that the synthwave genre was born from a desire to blend nostalgia with innovation, creating a sound that felt both familiar and new. It was about capturing that 80s vibe while also pushing boundaries, he says, exploring the experimental side of retro sounds. Synthwave is just one facet of this musical revival. It has its own subgenres, like Dreamwave and Outrun, and often draws more from pop music than from film scores. Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, members of the electronic band SURVIVE, gained fame for their work on the Netflix hit Stranger Things. While their music is often labeled as synthwave, they approach it from a more experimental perspective. I think the term synthwave was coined in 2016, and we never really identified with it until then, Dixon explains. They find their influences in the more avant-garde corners of early electronic music rather than the mainstream pop of the 80s. Capturing emotion through sound. At the heart of it all, these composers share a common goal: to evoke emotion through their music. Robinson emphasizes the power of retro synth sounds in achieving this. Film music is all about emotion and tone. When I hear a piece of music, I envision imagery that it evokes. This type of music carries a palpable sense of nostalgia, even if the 80s weren't necessarily a perfect time. It's about the feelings and memories it conjures up. On Stranger Things, Dixon and Stein appreciate the creative freedom they have to explore the right sounds for each moment. The Duffer Brothers allow us to experiment, which is crucial for finding the right emotional tone, Dixon shares. They strive to use real hardware and synthesizers, opting for a more authentic sound rather than relying solely on digital production. While it's easy to create synthwave on a laptop, there's something special about using real equipment that adds depth to our music. Synth scores, from stigma to acceptance. The rise of synth sounds in modern film scores can be attributed to a shift in perception. Robinson recalls a time when synthesizers were seen as a sign of a low-budget production. In the mid-80s, using a synth was often associated with cheap B-movie scores. But now, a single musician creating a score is considered cool and innovative. Today, the choice to use synths is often about artistic vision rather than budget constraints. Robinson explains that while orchestras are still essential for big Hollywood productions, many TV shows are expected to deliver cinematic scores on smaller budgets. On Cobra Kai, we prioritize recording everything live, which is rare for TV shows. Many productions opt for cheaper overseas options, but we value the music enough to invest in it. The synth sound, a permanent fixture. So, why does the 80s electronic sound continue to thrive in modern music? According to Robinson, it's about choice and taste. A big synth track is just cool. It's not a trend. It's a stylistic choice. The sound of synthesizers has become a staple in film scoring, blending seamlessly with orchestral elements. Stein adds that synthesizers have become integral to contemporary film scores, often used for sub-bass and effects. Even orchestral scores incorporate synths now. If you want to create a unique sound world, synthesizers offer unparalleled control over sound design. The 80s sound has become more relevant than ever, while traditional orchestral scores can feel dated in comparison. Dixon echoes this sentiment, noting that synthesizers are now more prevalent in popular culture than orchestras. Most people today are exposed to electronic music, which is dominated by synthesizers. Orchestral music is becoming increasingly rare in mainstream media, the enduring legacy of 80s sounds. Despite the ever-changing musical landscape, the nostalgic pull of 80s sounds remain strong. Robinson muses, why has this sound endured? It's fascinating that something can have such a long-lasting legacy and still resonate with younger generations who weren't even alive during that time. Sunglasses Kid often encounters young fans expressing their inexplicable nostalgia for an era they never experienced. I get comments from people in their 20s saying they feel nostalgic for a time they weren't alive in. It's a unique phenomenon. Ultimately, the success of certain artistic techniques ensures their longevity. As Sunglasses Kid puts it, imagine if the 80s had discovered a whole new range of paint colors. Would those colors ever go out of style? While styles may evolve, the palette of sounds from the 80s will always have a place in music. The future remains uncertain, and while 80s nostalgia may eventually fade, the synth sound will continue to resonate, blending the past with the future in a way that transcends its origins and becomes truly timeless.